Just don't care, I'm going everywhere. Just don't care, I'm going everywhere. Just don't care, I'm going...
Freedom of speech, they like to say, is not freedom from consequences. But that's absurd on its face, because if that's how you're defining free speech, then you're free, under even the most totalitarian and barbaric of regimes, to say what you want. There are just consequences. In North Korea, if you were so inclined, you could say whatever you wanted about dear leader. You could call him a fat prick with an emo haircut. You'd just end up being strapped to an anti-aircraft battery and fired into the moon. That's not free speech, because it's not free. Free speech is when you're free from consequences. And when we understand that definition, the argument becomes about when free speech is okay, where actual harm is, the harm principle, and when it's okay to enforce otherwise. So when you're arguing for consequences, do keep in mind that you are arguing against free expression, so you need to justify it. This is becoming more of a problem for us because we're all living our private lives publicly. We all have social media, we all say all kinds of things on there, and this is a space that some people read as public, some people read as private, some people read as semi-private, talking amongst your friends or whatever. Where's the divide between your personal life and your public life and your work life? If you turn up at the office and obey all the rules while you're there, what business is it of the business to pay attention to what you do outside of that time? Whether you're an LGBT activist who happens to work for a company that's owned by someone who's anti-gay rights, should they be able to fire you or hold you accountable for the things that you do while you're outside work? Or whether you're a racist or whatever, expounding white nationalist views on your own dime, on your own time, what business is that of the business? The test of our principles is how we apply them to people we disagree with. If you're okay with one of those scenarios, and not okay with the other, then you're not applying your principles evenly. This isn't to say I'd sympathise with the Nazi or whatever, but just to say that they have rights too. And it's equally wrong in each situation to censor and control what someone does, to fire them for what they do on their own time, what they wear on their own time, what they say. That's not the business of the business. And like most rights, these things interact. Your freedom from and your freedom to. And their freedom from and their freedom to. Where's the line? We're still not really having these conversations. Some of the laws are being updated, but socially we still haven't dealt with this. To understand where the new divide is, to reinforce the walls around our personal lives. When you talk about consequences, you're excusing doxing, you're excusing Charlie Hebdo massacres because of blasphemy against the Prophet. You're excusing people getting fired and their lives ruined because of something they said on their own time, on their own dime, in their personal life. So free speech, free expression is freedom from consequences. And where you want to apply consequences, justify it. Explain yourself. Say why it's okay to apply consequences in that instance. This whole debate needs to move on, but whether we're talking about games or media in general, social media, how far work intrudes into your personal life, how much they're justified or not justified in firing you over something you said on Twitter at 3 AM while drunk off your tits. This stuff needs to be talked about, but it needs to be talked about honestly, and at the moment it's 90% one side of this argument actively trying to hurt people. Get them fired, get them hurt, get them silenced, and they need to acknowledge that and live up to it. Own it. See you later. If you like what I do here, please like, subscribe. You can find me on social media, on Twitter at Grimachu, James Desborough on Facebook, James Grim Desborough on G+. My main website is postmortemstudios.wordpress.com. If you want to help me out with a little money, which will go to support my games, writing and other projects, you can do so at Patreon, which is also Grimature.